Hello everybody, welcome to the ranking scout card stream. GA will be joining me in just a moment. We're gonna be checking to make sure everything's working, make sure it all goes well, you know, the usual. I do not appear to be live just yet. There we go. Hello. Yeah, perfect. Okay. You know what's funny? I have like low latency set on. I guess I need like ultra low latency set, cause like it's so delayed, and I really wish it wasn't. But oh well. Okay. Well, we're gonna get started on the scout ranking. I do have this all set up. Ooh, wait, I need one more thing here. Oh, whoopsie daisies. Didn't set that up correctly. Give me one moment. Hope you all are having a good Saturday. If it's a Saturday for you, or if you're watching this later, I hope you're all having a good time no matter what day it is. There's no playback error, right? No, we're good. Error occurred. It's like not showing it on my feed right here. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm very well. How are you?
Doing good. I was just getting started. Making sure everything was set up. Alright. Afternoon, Everly. Hope you're doing well. I realized that the thumbnail I set up was wrong for like 5 minutes ago. And I was like, well, whoops.
What was the thumbnail?
It was my Warriors thumbnail. I didn't replace it with the Scout one, but we're good now. We're set up. All right,
That's fine. We can go back and fix where Cleve is.
Nope, never. All right. Shall we get started?
Do you mind?
Oh.
Yeah, if you don't mind sharing screen on the
Sure.
Discord with me.
No problem.
Much appreciated.
I can not share my audio as well if that helps. That way you just hear my mic and not the music.
Sure.
Okay, we're doing that screen. Cool. Is that good for you?
No, I can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me at all? Really? Hello, Mike. Hope you're doing well. Alright, give me a second.
I got you. Okay.
Hello. Can you still not hear me?
Hello. Yeah, no, I got you.
Oh, you got me. Cool, cool. Alright. Yep. I should be sharing. Gonna be doing this. We got some people joined already, and yeah, shall we get started?
Let's do it.
Alright. Acrobatic strike. I forgot where I put this last night. I put it in used when not crafting, but what about you? What do you say?
Let's skip it for me, but
Skip it.
I'm neither here nor there. If you want to put it, when do you use it?
Particularly in the early game, if I have a scout tank, like, and I just have it automatically from like a divination, I will use it there because it's like it's got high evade. It's like 3 evade or 4 evade if you have the right upgrade on it. So that's all.
Okay, I could see it being low down in the skip it. In the use not crafting.
Yeah, it's gonna be low there for sure. Followed up by a terrible card, always going in the skip it. Now we're going. Obviously, adrenaline is used late game. It's used like always.
Yeah, adrenaline's so strong. The fact that it's the rarity that it is
versus
like manager, it's great.
Yeah, rare is good. I mean, and for OTK, you don't even suffer the consequences, right?
That's right. But even in the absence of that, it's still very good.
Well, yeah, it's still always net 1 energy at the very least. Like, there's no reason not to play it. All right, aim shot. I do used early. I don't know if you do.
Used rarely for me.
Used rarely? I could see that.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want quick shots, but it can be a 1-cost target monster ranged attack, which is nice. Sylvie makes these free, so that's why like sometimes I also use it later, because she can have these for free and target a monster. Not always necessary, especially if you're playing with ranged attacks, because you have AoE. So yeah, I get you.
I do like rapid fire. Yeah, I prefer rapid fire obviously for the single target, but yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, no, I use rapid fire as well. It's only really in the context of like zero cost aim shot.
Yeah.
Ambidextrous, also late game.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No debate there. Very, very good.
No debate. Yeah, I mean, it's just your best melee attack that is reduced in cost. Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
And you can scavenge it back out too when it's permanently reduced in cost, so that's pretty good. Ambush, I don't know, I have the upgraded version here. I will use this in Thol's deck sometimes when I have no better options. I don't know about
Yep,
you.
that's fair enough.
It's better
Yeah,
than Acrobatic
that's
Strike
fair
for
enough.
me. But yeah, okay.
Never. I know they. I think they tweaked it recently, right? Ambush, or is it always ×6?
Oh, that's the upgraded version. Yeah, let me quickly go over to the other page. Ambush. Yeah, it's not always ×6 your stealth. It's just a 12/12. I don't know if it got tweaked recently, but it's high base damage. It's okay. It's not great, but sometimes it's the best target attack you have in tandem with Thol's stealth. If you have like no money.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there any combination of stealth and sharp that it out damages Blade Flurry? If it was ×6.
I don't think so. Right? Well, I mean, I guess if you had like what 4 stealth on ×6,
and low sharp, and very low sharp.
Yeah, low sharp, 4 stealth on. That's like 24 base damage. I don't know. Yeah, you'd have to have very low sharp for it to be worthwhile.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
All right. Sorry, takes me a second to switch pages. I need to close my other tabs. 1 second. Wait, I also need to make sure you're not on the tab I'm closing. No. Okay. Just makes it easier for me to switch back and forth. My apologies. All right, there we go. Should be set. Okay, ammunition.
For me personally, it's a skip it. It's card disadvantage. In its delay doesn't go into your hand, right? So
it's card disadvantage. No, you have one that can go. The upgraded version can go into your hand.
Yeah.
It's not card disadvantage if you have the blue one. Although I hate that it's automatic, but it does permanently reduce the cost, so there's some fun scavenge shenanigans. I've used it rarely. I
can see a world where it'd be used rarely versus complete skip.
Yeah, and the reason being is just like it's sometimes, I mean, you can actually fairly frequently get a very high roll off of ammunition. Like you're looking at the multi-shot, the volley or other stuff, and like when you do get those and you have scavenge, you can get it quite frequently. It's not ideal, but it's cheap, so it's nice. Having a volley early game on a fight is very fun, and usually it's not too bad of value either. It's just like normal cost ranged attack, so however good any of those are.
It kind of reminds me of Winter's Night Tale, where it's like, the upside can be really, really good.
Yeah.
I am not a big fan of the variants, but
used
rarely, I could see that.
Yeah, it's usually, again, like for low economy, if you just get it in divination, it's nice. Those are for like high resistance runs. Backstab, I personally never use this. What about you?
I do not.
Yeah, you don't use a lot of these. Most of these have been skips for you outside our use late games, right?
Yeah, for me personally, it's a skip it. See, the caveat is for adventure. We're talking about adventure mode, right?
Right, we're talking about adventure mode. We're talking about Madness 18. So,
yeah.
Really, I mean, Madness 16 is where most of our experience is, but Madness 18 is new. Annoying Whistle, I've used it in the Frog's deck when not crafting. It's sometimes good base damage when he's like healing support.
Fine, yeah. It's pretty low down.
Yeah.
Very low down. You're looking to take these out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Quickly. Like you try to take these out all the time. They are better than the one cost thing that he has as well. But yeah, I agree. It's not good. You're looking to take these out as fused. I think that goes for like all used when not crafting. You want to replace these with other cards that you could buy. You just don't have that as an option.
You begrudgingly play it.
Exactly.
You ran out of shards.
Yeah, exactly. Ballad of Conquest is used late game.
Correct, yeah. Especially for non-OTK, it's fantastic.
Yeah, especially non-OTK, but even in OTK, it's not bad because you can just there's a lot of ways to get double stanza turn 1. So I've fairly consistently done this on runs. Same with Ballad of Evasion, which is probably a bit better than Ballad of Conquest. Where'd you put this? It's like
if it was not OTK, I think it's ahead of Ambidextrous, and if you're talking about OTK, then it's below.
Yeah, Ballad of Evasion just lets you kind of sit there on a boss's turns. You do need to take the extra evade perk so that you can get the 3 evasion, but this will let you tank through Handcheck and Archon and the twins fairly regularly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you could go very aggressive, not OTK, but
right.
This was the meta before OTK, before the high score run. Path to Forest Crown used to path via Yoga, and so you didn't have that guaranteed speed control on Andrin in every fight, and there were a lot more turn 2s, so you couldn't just go full glass cannon. And just after playing Chant of Initiative to get stanza on Andrin, I used to always, when I was at the high scoring before the mods, always buy Ballad of Evasion in Act 2 town, just in case you're rolling into turn 2s, and it's absolutely incredible against the final bosses.
Yeah.
As well, you can just blank like ridiculous damage. You can face roll the final bosses, and if you have 2 or 3 of I would play 2 or 3 or 4 of those into the final bosses, and every turn is just like a free turn, especially with the Inspire as well.
Right. Yeah.
I like the bullet.
Get that stanza.
I do prefer the
traces.
Do you prefer the blue one?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously over the yellow one, just because the uptime of stanza is easier to control.
Yeah, sometimes you get that like purple tune-up, you get into Ballad of Evasion, you give your whole team Inspired, and you don't even have to search for the Wild Hunt anymore. You just trace your top deck of whatever hero you had going. It's nice.
I think it's the best defensive card in the game.
I think you're right. Like as far as single value goes, and for the ease of play, yeah. Citadel obviously is like right up there, but like it's so expensive and kind of requires other cards to play. I mean, so does this, to be fair.
Pound for pound, right? So,
yeah.
Pound for pound, I think is the best defensive card in the game for what you get for the energy.
I agree. 100% agreed there. All right, next we have Bane. Used rarely in like poison strategies. It's like actually kind of decent. It lets you stack up poison fairly often. It's a melee attack. It can target monsters.
Poison as a strategy is used rarely.
Exactly.
So by virtue of that, you are playing this as a detonate, a big high base damage card.
Yeah.
When you are playing poison, which you should not be.
Yeah, don't play poison. I just did it again, and it was very rough. It's actually not too bad. I have a newfound respect for poison. I think it's much better than it used to be. It's a lot easier to apply, and there's a lot more advantages to doing so. That said, you still need a strategy that like lets you turtle up very well. Barrage. This is a late game card. It's your best range attack.
It is. I would put it, maybe ahead of Ballad of Conquest or something like that. Late game now, ranged is, I feel at least that it's outclassed by slashing just because of the Blade Flurry change.
Yeah, no, you're right on that.
So this would be, before that Blade Flurry change, I would say that ranged kind of outclassed slashing in a vacuum.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think slashing is better.
Range just had better cards.
You're desperately looking for this, right? If you're playing Sylvie Carry, you really, really, really want to find it.
I think most runs I've played Sylvie Carry, I haven't gotten Barrage. The only run where I played Sylvie Carry and got Barrage was a run I think I did with you. And it makes me very sad. But yeah. Okay. Cool. Going on to this. Blade Dance. This is very good early, right?
Oh, but Cleave is bad.
Dude, the Cleave sucks.
It's the same card.
Not at all. This one is.
If you're going to be internally consistent, then you have to. You can't say this is great. Cleave is meh.
I mean, let me look at this card again. Hold up. This card applies both bleed and poison. Like, come on. How could you do better than that? That's so good.
Yeah, Blade Dance is just like Cleave. It's great in the early game. So you should be high up on the early game.
Okay, the reason that makes Blade Dance like just better in my mind is scouts don't have a sweeping strike, so that's all. Okay, that's all that's in my head there.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Uh,
Okay.
Blade Flurry. Well, this is a trash card. Might as well put it and skip it. No need to talk about it. All right, Blur. No, Blade Flurry. So obviously, Blade Flurry got a huge update, making it actually extremely good. You can buy it in the starting town. I don't know. This is like towards the top for me now for all scouts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. That's where I would have placed it.
Yeah. You get this card and you play it. You get Fury. When you upgrade it, you want to always probably spend the money to upgrade it. It is quite expensive because it's 210, but it's not like super expensive. And with the Fury perk, you get this up to 2. You get 6 stacks of Fury that already increases your damage by 30% as soon as you play this 3-cost card. Play like a volley or something after this, or Blade Dance and stuff, and you're probably sweeping up the whole team. So,
yeah. Oh, your Discord sharing screen. Do you want to press hide? And then I think it might be.
Oh,
just Discord is sharing your screen.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, didn't realize it's hiding on there. Yeah, hiding that. All right. Yeah. So Blade Flurry. I mean, ambidextrous
is just incredible.
Yeah, that's what you target with ambidextrous. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? I'm doing well. We're just ranking all these cards. Just ranked we're probably one of the best scout cards now is Blade Flurry. Obviously, you pair that with ambidextrous. If you get purple ambi, you put that down to 0 permanently. You just scavenge it back over and over again. It's just so good.
Especially with momentum, right? With like on Andrew and Thals, it discounts so energy efficient.
Yeah, it's the rare case of a card that you can get early game that's also your best damage dealer late game. So
yes.
Okay, Blur. I almost always skip this. Is there time for Blur?
No, it's kind of the only time I would play it is maybe on like Sigrun carry, just to get some evasion stacks in the early game. But I don't think it's sorry, not Sigrun carry, Sigrun tank.
Sigrun tank. Okay, yeah. I was like maybe Scout evade tech.
It's kind of contrasting, right? You one
get
is
stealth.
offensive, one is defensive,
right?
Yeah, so
yeah,
I would play it not for the stealth. I would like start the turn with it just to get a couple of evade,
right,
and then continue. I wouldn't want to keep the stealth. I'm just doing it purely for the evade, but I think it's a skip, to be honest. Maybe use not crafting.
Yeah, I'll put use not crafting for those off tanks. Guess it's kind of similar to acrobatic strike. Just I honestly maybe kind of worse. Maybe it's one cost. It's stealth is kind of meaningless in that context, and you don't want to be stealthed if you're evading. Sometimes if you play this last and you do this on your scout tank, then the next hero just dies. So
yeah, are you able to full screen the tier maker? I'm getting some weird overlap on the bottom of your.
Is it?
Actually, no. I think it's fine.
Sorry. No worries. I'm only looking at my other screen, so I won't be able to see it as often. Camouflage. This is used all the time. I don't know. This goes into kind of used late, right? Like.
Yeah, I think it does. I sometimes carry it late, especially if I'm not converting the damage to different to non-physical. Right. So I like the fact that it draws. I really like the one that draws replaces itself.
Yeah, specifically that one is the version that I always get. I haven't played the other versions if I can help it at any point. This draws are very nice. It's 3 stealth. It's better base stealth than Blur is. And the fact that it replaces itself is just so good. You can also make it cheap by getting a reduction in cost on skills by certain items. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do. If energy is the limiting factor, I prefer Vanish.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Camouflage is obviously great.
Yeah. All right. I've been having a rough few weeks. Sorry to hear that. Glad you're playing some Yu-Gi-Oh. Robert, you've been having a few bad runs. Last couple you tried, probably getting too greedy. I love that you guys are doing this again. The Warrior one was helpful. Glad you found it helpful. Yeah, this one's fun. Caltrops. This card got a lot better. I'll put it in used rarely.
I would actually go used lace. I think if you're going scout, it's down the bottom of used lace. But if you're going scout like Nino Kill tank or any some people play Andrew tank.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, if you're going scout, yeah, I guess if you're going scout tank, I was gonna say that it's just like scout tank is super used rarely, so that's why I was putting it here.
Yeah.
Because like we did that for thorns on warriors as
Same
well.
with, I guess, for the same reason that Bane is where it is, because poison is
Right,
used
right.
rarely.
We did the same thing with warrior thorns cards. Like all the
Yeah,
thorns cards went into used
true,
rarely. So
true. I do think that Sigrun tank, the fact that you have Nenu as a tank, the fact you have Sigrun now as a scout tank, I think it will be more popular, and I think it's definitely viable. But for sure,
yeah, I mean,
there
in
are
particular, the
the
reason
other
it's good
use.
now, right, is because it's like the only AOE scout block card, and it costs one. So like that of alone makes it really good. It's also a
It
skill,
does.
which is so helpful for my all skills run that I'll probably be doing soon. All right.
Perfect.
Uh, go back to that. And yeah, captivating voice. I actually have this as a tech card.
Yeah, top tech.
Top tech, yeah. This is a really high amount of slow for 2. Purple version's actually 1 cost, and it goes for slow 4. And purple version also gives you the
Stanza
second,
two.
stanza 2. So it lets you play all the stanza 2 cards early. So it's good for multiple reasons in the tech class, but I often don't run it in most runs. So, but you do need to
Yeah,
take this if your speed's
I pick
bad.
it. Yeah, I do. I pick it up all the time as tech.
Yeah, like it's one of those things that it's very useful when you know you're coming up against the fight. I like this is one of those cards I always like forget to pick up or like I have to pick up for the hand check clones. If my
Yeah,
android is
yeah,
too fast and my team's too slow.
yeah, exactly.
Burning shot. This one, what is this?
Use
Gosh,
not crafting for me.
use
Like I
not
would
crafting. That's
begrudgingly
fair.
play it on Nano Kill. It's in his starting deck.
It is.
If I don't have the energy, so I'd much rather be doing playing like a multi-shot or something.
Yeah. Is
Um,
why is oh, that's right here. Yeah. What do you feel? How do you feel about the version that transforms to fire? I guess and is scales off of the fortify.
I think it's fine. I think if you're doing it, you're probably pathing to volcanic axe anyway, and this becomes redundant. Where
Oh yeah, you're right. I guess like
you're
it's a lot worse now.
yeah,
Yeah.
true. With the transform change, then it will become worse.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I used to play this with Nenu Kill, going the Volcanics axe route and scaling like Fortify, but you're right, this is probably just fine now.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I wouldn't be going out my way to craft it personally.
Have fun on your run, Caven. And also, yeah, no worries, go back to the start. Get whatever you want out of the video. Okay, that's fair. Chant of Accuracy.
I think it's in the time that you are playing it, it's used all the way. I mean, I
Yeah.
take it all the way through the late game, right?
Sharp is just super common, or like things that scale off of Sharp, so I guess it's like late. I'll put it up there with Camouflage. It's not quite as good.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
if you're playing Gustav as support or Gustav
right.
as a carry, you're never not playing Chant of Accuracy all the way through the game.
Yeah, this is like your
I also
premier
think
Sharp card.
with Sigrun and as a support character, and the fact that Amplify it now exists, and you can kind of increase Sharp and Bless.
Mm.
This I like this more now than I used to. I used to like it before anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons I like Ballad of Conquest, is that Sharp and Bless, like, combo factor.
Yeah,
Yeah. Man, Chant of Accuracy, this is a great card, and I guess it's really because Sharp can buff 5 damage types, so I think that's the main reason I put it so high here. Alright, Chant of Initiative.
you probably know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a skip it.
I would put it ahead of Blade Flurry.
You put it ahead of Blade Flurry. Okay.
Yeah.
You explain.
Speed control. Your effective damage and the tempo that you get from speed control is extremely good. This is one thing in my earliest. When I started playing across the Obelisk, the thing that I underappreciated the most is how impactful speed control is and the effective damage. So, you if you have like a support character like Gustav or someone that gives buffs to your primary carry, the difference between them going after or before your carry on turn 1 could be in the early game like effectively 30 or 40 damage loss if your support goes after the carry. And in the late game, you're talking like thousands of damage worth of loss if you cannot get your buffer ahead of the damage dealer. And so in my mind, like this is the most damage per energy of any card in the game, because it can impact your tempo by like thousands of damage in the mid to late game and hundreds in the early to mid game. So speed control is just extremely important. And even same is true of block, right? Like if you can get Heine to Steel Forge before the enemies go, your effective health and block, you're saving like hundreds of damage across the team. So to me, I look at this one card, Chance of Initiative, same with Scroll of Speed, and it's like for 1 energy or 0 energy, I get hundreds and hundreds of health or damage points worth of value from reconfiguring the order of the team. That's my TED talk.
No, yeah. Oh, also, sorry, Robert, I misspoke. I think it's only 4 damage types that slashing, or sharp buffs. The other 2 outside of slashing and piercing are mind and dark. Mind through Gustav's sharp, and dark through the perk on here on the bottom of the page. Sharp also increases the shadow damage by 1 per charge. But yeah, everything GA said is correct. Speed control is super valuable in the game. And this being on the fastest characters is one of the reasons why it's going to be so highly ranked here. I mean, it's not like Scroll of Speed will be bad either, because that's also like part of the speed control like setup with this card. But yeah, Chant of Initiative is amazing for all those reasons. I use it often too, even on like non-meta runs or like non-OTK runs, just to speed up Heiner, so that, like you said, you get the Steel Forge.
Yeah, 100%. Same is true. I mean, it's not obviously it's mandatory for OTK, but even in the absence of OTK, just playing conventionally, being able to change the order of your team is incredible.
Like we would play this without giving stanza, but the fact that it does is also very nice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Charged Lunge, that's a new card they added that I don't use ever. Is it?
I think it's in the use not crafting. It's high up in use not crafting, right? If you're playing Sigrun as specifically as a carry, I would begrudgingly play it. I like that they're doing chain more, but it's not something I'm actively going to craft.
Yeah, right. Like it just doesn't do enough. Every time I've played it, I've been disappointed by, and I would rather have had like a slice. Like I don't know. The fact that it only targets.
My problem is I'm spoiled by Malicious Eye that has a very similar thing, but it's free.
Right. Exactly.
So.
Corrupted Blade. I don't know. This is like, I guess also use not crafting generally, but it's tech. I guess it's tech too.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I'm gonna put it on tech because decay is
slow down in the tech.
Yeah, it's far away from captivating voice, but decay is very useful if you are struggling with bosses that heal themselves. So we gotta use it sometimes. It's also it is really high base damage, and you use it all the time when you put small weapons into your hand through various effects. Debilitate. This card sucks, right?
It does.
I skip it.
It sucks.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I might I would maybe use it not crafting, but now like at the time it comes up, like it almost never shows up. It's almost always a skip. I think you can't even. Sorry, I need to check here really quick. I believe you can't even like make it target. Oh, you can make it target. It just costs 4 then, in which case it's really not super worth it. I guess weakness might be nice, but you really want weakness on floor fights since it doesn't really help on bosses. There's usually not like one monster you want to make weak, so it's not good bang for your buck in almost any case. So yeah, just had to check that really quick. All right. Thanks. I try not to comment since it's much more simple to helpful to everybody who plays. I don't know. And I think it's helpful to get perspectives of other people too. I'll try to get comments when I can. Deflect. Deflect's a good card.
I would put it right at the top of the early game, and it sometimes encroaches into the late game. But by that point, you usually have such good card draw and selection that you don't necessarily need a deck thinner on
Right.
scouts because you can get through the deck. But there's absolutely times where you still play it through the late game. I think
Yeah, especially if you're playing
it's
like
one that's like on the cusp
a
for
scout
me,
tank, right? But yeah, this is used all the
for
time.
sure.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm
And
happy with that.
even if I'm playing like if I'm playing Gustav support, it's just high. It's hard to get 15 a high density of 15 really top tier cards in Gustav's deck, in my opinion. So
Yep.
I'd still play a deflect just to thin the deck because
Yeah.
you're looking for chant of accuracy, you're looking for ballad of evasion, ballad of conquest, and then other than that, there aren't many other great candidates. So you'd round out the deck with a couple of deflects to thin the deck.
Yeah, and because like I play with no like I'd like to play with only one vigilance, having a deflect in the opening hand is really nice.
Yes, true, true.
All right, detection. I don't know. I
I think
used
it's
to,
low down in the used early game to me.
yeah, I used to really love this card, but I mean, it always falls off, kind of.
It's slightly worse with the double two damage instances no longer benefit twice from mark, so it is a slight nerf to detection.
Wait,
Um,
do two damages? Oh, like it's two damage instances. So like, let's say like a fan of knives still works, right? Like if
yeah,
you're
I'm
not
talking about
converting.
Shatter. Two of the same.
Okay,
So
okay, two of the
Shatter
same.
used to get
Yeah.
used to benefit twice.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Um,
so much worse now. It used to be so good.
yeah, I wouldn't say so good. It was decent. Like I'll still pick these up if I find them in a divination with Andrin. I'll still I guess it's used not crafting then. Maybe that's right at the top of used not crafting. I'm very rarely crafting it.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it very rarely for now. You might be right. It's probably use not crafting or potentially, but like I yeah, I'm gonna say used rarely now. I rarely do use it though. Sometimes it's like better than Hunter's Mark when upgraded, in the very late game if you have to
That's
face
fair.
multiple enemies. So I don't know. It's like it's a Andrin almost tech card, but it
That's
did help
fair.
me on my all scouts run.
Yeah.
So it has a special place in my heart for that. Disengage. Disengage is like the better, what's it called? Acrobatic strike for tanks.
I agree. Yeah, I put this in the use not crafting and quite high up. I'd take
Yeah.
if I get it in a card reward. I'm not. It's quite expensive. You wouldn't actively craft it in town with the limited cards that you have, but if you perked evasion and you are doing the scout tank, then this is great.
Yeah, it's a two cost card. But yeah, you get to draw and it gets evasion. What's to say? What can you say? Dark Concoction. This card is you know it's funny. It's like infinite scaling.
Yeah, it's quite similar to Bane in my mind. Like the strategy itself, like I was watching your run, right? It's probably ahead of Bane.
Right. Yeah, I'd put it ahead of Bane, I guess. Well, I mean, like, I think doing because like I didn't do the run properly for the Rust build. I don't know that the Rust build's actually like good at all, honestly. But it does seem manageable, and you can get probably absurd. Like I'm pretty sure you could get at least like 120 like Rust on yourself fairly easily. And the fact that it scales at what, a 6 times multiplier? I gotta double check this. Sorry, 3 times multiplier, not 6 times. It's still very, very strong. For 2 cost, I like it. And it's a small weapon.
Yeah,
But it's also
yeah, so-
used rarely. Because you're not doing those strategies rarely, you're right. Alright. Double strike. This is a 2-hit card. Is it used early?
I put it in the use not crafting.
Used
If
not
I found
crafting.
one in a divination, maybe like with Thul's, and specifically the one that it costs 1, right? The upgrade.
Yeah, specifically the one that costs 1. It's a double hit, cost 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of a double hit, cost 1, dual strike. This hits the front monster. It's kind of the same thing, except it's not
I
one
play
damage
double
type.
strike. I play double strike more than dual if I could upgrade it. Personally.
Yeah, so dual strike goes right behind. It's funny. I think the reason I use dual strike more is just because it's in Thul's deck, but it's not like the ideal card. Evanescence. I don't think this card's good. I would skip it. What do you say?
I think the 1.5, the yellow one, I'd play.
That's fair. It does
in the
have a
late game.
1.5. I don't even the
Well,
one
for
and a half.
1.5, I think it's it's fine. Um, you could if you have something like a weapon cache or I think it's like very low down in the use late game, but otherwise I wouldn't play the non 1.5 versions personally.
Yeah, and maybe if you're trying to stack stealth super high on Tholes, because it's a high stealth card.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I would skip it, but we can do.
I think it's better than Omnipotence.
Yeah, 1.5 is definitely better.
And also I think stealth, getting like 6 stealth or something for the final bosses. You just
You just have to make sure you're
tank
not
so many hits.
discarding the card that you want to use, or vanishing it rather.
Yeah,
Yeah. Where are we putting it? Sorry. So used rarely.
use rallies probably maybe fine.
All right. Sorry, I like just forgot like immediately. Okay. Eviscerate.
I actually think it's below detection. Right?
Yeah, that's
Use
fair.
rally. Yeah.
Sad that these mythic cards aren't that good.
Yeah.
Eviscerate it's a card. It's a card
It's a
that's.
skip it for me personally.
I agree. I mean, at this point, like the problem is one, it's duo damage type, so you have to be playing sharp for it to be good. You can ambidextrous eviscerate if you wanted to a bunch of times, or you could just be ambidextrousing Blade Flurry and get a lot more total damage. So the choice is
Blade Flurry is so much more effective damage, I think.
yeah, it's more
So
effective damage. I did a test with it on a run. I don't know if I told you about this, but like I played like 3 or 4 eviscerates that I was able to get for free by copying them with ambidextrous and having faded future and all that. And I played 3 or 4 blade flurries, and blade flurry won out on the damage.
yeah,
Even though this is a 7 cost card, and I was going sharp, it made me sad. But that just shows how good blade flurry is. All right.
yeah. They should lower the cost of that or something, or figure out something to make it.
Boost its base damage, or repeat like 5 times or something. I don't know. Make it
Yeah,
similar
it's just
to
funny
Barrage.
how, like, compared to Carnage, I know Carnage is OP, but it's just so so much worse than Carnage.
No, I could see them making it very similar to Barrage, where it just like repeats like a bunch of times, and then maybe it'd be
Yeah.
winning on the copy. Explosive shot.
Skip it.
Skip it. Yeah. It's just it's just not really good. It's also a speed scaling card, so I have a special place in my heart for it. It's just I don't know. It has the right scaling types. You can get double buff damage off of this on Fortify. So like
If you don't transform.
if you don't
Yes.
transform, and it does target the side, so it does do some AoE, but it's so expensive, and it's just also not that. There's better bang for your buck cards.
Yeah, it's so many shards for
Yeah.
what on earth.
Well, and we, like you said, we skip it in card rewards most of the time, right? It doesn't even fit the deck. So,
No.
expose armor.
Expose armor
Tech.
to me is tech. Yeah,
Yeah.
above corrupted blade, below captivating voice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll take this for the final bosses.
Yeah. It's I use it all the time for that. Energizing Serenade. You probably
got
skipped
buff, right?
this.
No, I think now I would have before, but this got buffed right in the most recent patch.
Did it get buffed?
It did, yeah. It has an overcharge. It has overcharge,
Oh, we gotta look at that then.
and it was made cheaper, I believe.
I think it was. I thought it always used to be 3. I see.
Maybe
Both
it was-
versions give 3 energy now. This one gives
Yeah, 3.
2 inspire,
And there's an overcharged version as well.
and there's the overcharged version that does the. It just grants more regen and healing, which is fine, but you're already
Yeah.
getting so much healing and regen. Like, I don't know if that little more is going to make the difference on all heroes. It might, but
Yeah.
you can usually get that.
If you
more
can,
other ways.
if the stars align, or if you're playing
Yeah.
Gustav, then obviously it's great value. It's just a full reset, heal everyone. So I can see why you play it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it's one of those cards that, like, I always love when I get it on, like, a run where I'm playing healing Gustav, and outside of that, like, it rarely gets played. um, yeah, I don't know. I'd put it in used rarely just because that's like one, it just does show up late, and two, unless you're getting to stanza 3 all the time, like the Energize and Inspire is not going to help you too much. It's still a very good card if you do get to pull it off for 3 energy. Don't get me wrong. It's just stanza 3 really holds it back.
Yeah, I still think detection is used more.
It's definitely used
If
more.
that's what the criteria is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know what the criteria is. I'm gonna say Energizing Serenade. Like I would play it more often. No, I wouldn't. I'd play it less often. Definitely better than Evanescence. Actually, I'm gonna put Evanescence down a tier.
Okay.
Fan of Knives. Sigrun also plays songs. No, she can, but you have to set it up with other stanza cards or her own starting card, and preferably other stanza cards so you could get stanza 2 immediately. But yeah.
Yeah.
Fan of Knives, this is your best AoE sweeping option for Sharp for melee attacks. This is late game, right?
Yeah. I think it goes ahead of Barrage, maybe a bit below Ambidextrous.
Yeah, that's fair. It's also something that you want ambidextrous. If you're sweeping, it's one of those cards that did get worse. It got hit by the transformation, so you can't really take it on as many transformative runs, but at least it double scales off Sharp. So, and it costs 3. It's not bad. Certainly a lot better than Blade Dance and Cleave.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right, Eternal Lullaby. This is a skip for me. What about you?
It's tech.
Tech? Okay.
It's tech. Yeah.
It's AoE slow.
It's AoE slow, and it's expensive for card rolls.
Oh,
It's double tech.
It's double tech because it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive and useful. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You see, getting the real knowledge here from GA.
Yeah, it's double tech, ticks 2 boxes, and sometimes there's a world where with Andrin in Act 3, if I'm trying to be super aggressive against the Hydra and I cannot get a support character to 18 base speed.
Yeah.
Eternal. I have played this in some high scoring runs where I'm nervous about the Hydra, and then I'll stick this on Andrin. This stanza 1 version.
Did you actually play it?
Like I have played it, yeah. Because with Adrenaline, you can you change 1 chant of initiative to 0 cost.
Okay.
And then with Adrenaline, you can still afford it because you have double Adrenaline by that point, so you can still afford it.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And then you get your slow. It's like a bad shock nova, right, for the Hydras, and then you're still going ahead of the Hydras if you can't get Cornelius or Evelyn to 18 base speed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, you sold me on it. I'll keep it there in tech. I almost always skip it. I have a hard time finding a use for it, but you're right. Tech is where that belongs. Far shot. Skip. Is this another 5-card tech? 5 cost tech?
Yes, it's that and Eternal Lullaby are the cheapest 5 costs. So my highest score, myself and Wildman are like number 1 and 2 on the legitimate high scores right now in the new patch. And I played Far Shot through Act 2 to crit succeed.
Oh my goodness.
So I did. I kept it. I took it out in like mid to late Act 3. Played this on Andrin just to try and save scum.
Yeah.
Rolls.
It's funny. Like it's weird to have tech cards outside of combat, but hey, I guess it's tech. All right, I'll put it behind Eternal Lullaby because Eternal Lullaby actually does something useful. Far Shot, you're probably just discarding or whatever all the time.
You could probably put Far Shot in, skip it. To be honest,
I'll put it on top of skipping just for you.
I kept it because I had it in a card reward, which is why I played it. I'm not sure I'd spend the shards on it.
Yeah, look, it's part of your high score run. We gotta put it somewhere. It's high up. Faint. Yeah. This used to actually be something that I played a little bit of in defensive scouts, and now I don't.
Yeah, I know. I think it's. It's a 0 cost. Yeah. They buffed it.
They
recently.
did.
It's a chart. You can. It's a fast. So I think it's used rarely. Right, it's a 0 cost. It's a non-zero amount of block.
Yeah, but it's card disadvantage no matter what you're doing.
It is, but luckily the class with the best card advantage is scouts. So if you're in a position like I
Yeah.
can see a world where I play Sigrun tank, um,
I guess
and
this
or
one.
Nanu kill tank.
Yeah, Feint isn't card disadvantage, but like does get rid of your fast. I don't know. I used to play this version of Feint before they changed it to this. I liked it when it was just a 0 cost, like had very little, but gave me some block and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I think it's cool. Nanu on Nanu tank or I still think it's in the low in the use run. I think where you've got it is perfect.
Alright. We'll use rarely. Find weakness. It's a weird one. I feel like it's used early, but also used late sometimes. It's like vulnerable.
It's not craftable in the early game, right? You can't craft it in Act 1 Town.
Yeah.
So I would put it in used rarely, personally.
Alright, I'm gonna put it ahead of detection for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I end up using this card all the time when it shows up, to be fair, primarily on Andrin, or anyone I have doing any Mark shenanigans, which is usually just Andrin, but sometimes Gustav, sometimes Tholes, for reasons. But yeah, it's a 0 cost, apply vulnerable, apply Mark. It's not terrible.
It's if you're looking to reduce Bastet's resistances for a one shot, it's really helpful for that because you can infinitely loop it.
You can.
Yeah.
Better than Hunter's Mark, but Hunter's Mark is early, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Gunshot, skip. Don't even play it. Just never play it.
Yeah.
Always take this out.
Even if you
start
just
with
take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This card is so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just 2 cost. It's always 2 cost, and I don't know. Maybe if it could go to 1 cost like aim shot, I would like it more. Multi-shot is top of used early probably. I feel like I use it more than Blade Dance, just because
I think it's behind deflect but ahead of Blade Dance.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, actually you're right. Yeah, 'cause deflect is just always.
There's almost never a time. Yeah.
You're right.
Cool.
Multi-shot's your carry for ranged. Hidden weapon. This is for hidden weapon builds, which are probably rare, but I mean, it's good.
I love it. I play a lot.
Do you play a lot outside of hidden weapon stuff? Because I love it too. I'm willing to put it higher.
I only if you like with poison daggers only, just those two because you have setup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I play a lot in the late game, and you can get poison daggers for free, and
I agree.
Start scavenging it back. So I put it ahead of Chant of Accuracy for me. I'm playing this a lot in the late game.
Interesting.
Game.
I'm curious. Okay, I got a question to you on the head of Chant of Accuracy. I feel like this fits into less builds than Chant of Accuracy, right? Like Chant of Accuracy, you're scaling 4 damage types. Hidden weapon, you're only doing if you're going small weapons, which you only
literally any transform playing hidden weapon. So
any transform run. Okay. That's why I wanted to ask. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and but even if I am playing sharp, I'll play it with sharp, and I'll play it with transform.
Right, yeah. You'd play with sharp, which I just like because you play with sharp, like it makes sense. But I was thinking like hidden weapon makes sense because you're just talking about poison daggers is really so good and it's such an enabler of poison daggers. Like I like this card a lot just because like it's a very efficient card. It's actually one of the first ways that I won with Tholes. Like Tholes was very strong, going with all small weapons. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hit
and run. Are you gonna seriously tell me that we're gonna put a card that does 125,000 damage in the skip it in the skip it category?
Hit and run is not good. But I don't know. Maybe you play it some rarely or used when not crafting.
No, you do not. It's all the way down.
Yeah, you
below explosive shot. It's so bad.
Yeah, it costs too much. I like it. I like Slice more, and it costs 0. So, yeah, you just like ideally you don't have to play hit and run. I'm gonna put in use not crafting sometimes. I have used it not crafting. Reason being, is it is a target 1 cost hit. No, 2 cost hit. No, never mind. This card sucks. Oh, God, it's so bad. Sorry, I was just checking again. I'm like, oh, wait, I need to show the stream. It's so bad.
Yeah.
This card is the bane of my speed challenge.
but it does, it can.
It can scale infinitely.
Did they change this? Because it used to be x equals your speed times 2.
Was it 2? I didn't think it was
No, it
2.
wasn't. It was x equals your speed. That was it.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was just
I
X
remember.
equals.
Puncture
They buffed
puncture
it.
was 2.
Yeah,
They did. So at least, I mean, it
takes less clicks now.
it takes less chance. Yeah, less chance of initiatives to one shot Bastet now.
Yeah.
That's good.
You could save yourself some time. All right.
Yeah. It should
Hunters.
be it should be in the skip it, right? Hit and run.
Oh, I was gonna
Or
say.
are you saying
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm
use not
back down on
crafting?
skip it because it's cost
Yeah.
2 to target. So never mind.
Yeah.
If it costs 1 to target, I think I would play it more. Its base damage is actually fine early sometimes if you have to play it, but it's not what you want to play. Hunter's Mark is early game.
Yeah, I think it's very low in the early game. I'm not going out my way to craft it,
Same.
but I could see on Andrin. Maybe it's used not crafting.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. It's used not crafting. I only ever play it on Andrin or if somebody gets it out of divinations.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use it for vulnerable, so in a way it's kind of tech, but that's also it's kind of like a worse find weakness, right? So I shot.
This is like if you are if you are doing the chill speed stuff,
Right. It was literally
with
the only
the
playable
frost
card.
axe, then fair enough. But it's like,
but you're not doing
it's
that, so you skip.
extremely low down. Yeah.
Sorry, it's
Well,
better
you're
than
not,
hit and
you're not
run.
doing. I mean, you're doing poison in there, which you play rarely. So I don't know. Maybe ice shot's probably in the skip it. Yeah.
You just like poison's an actual strategy. Speed strat is not.
True. No, that's fair. That's fair.
There's just better damage cards that you can get for 2 costs. That's why we're putting it there. Lethal shot. It's vulnerable. Where do we put this? I don't like it most of the time, but
High. Would put it high and skip it.
yeah. I like
maybe low and use not crafting if you desperately need vulnerable.
Yeah, this is like if somehow you aren't allowed to add cards to your deck, but because you can't use towns or something like that, then you might play this card, which I think I
think it's skip it, right? Because you could even
I would skip it
for vulnerable. Yeah, it's just never a world run actively playing this in High Madness.
That's what I'm saying. Like you have to like literally be actively skipping downs. So, last reward. This is a great card. This is amazing. This is obviously used late game. I don't know where to put this, but this is like double any of your best cards. So
yeah, I think it's
could be like up here.
It depends if you have the shards to upgrade it, right? So if you
that's true.
if you aren't able to upgrade it, then it's
a little
just
bit worse
than a scavenge. Well, it depends on the average card cost.
Exactly.
But it's like close to scavenge. But if you are able to upgrade it, then it just gets catapulted to like adrenaline ahead of Cheltenham Initiative. You're never, ever not playing it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it here for now, right behind adrenaline, just because it's true. If you don't have the upgrade version where it costs 0, it's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
All right. Last Requiem. That's a skip.
It did get a buff, but
It did.
It did. I believe.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. It did. It's still a stanza 3. It's not something you can play very early to do a lot of damage and use that vulnerable on. So as a finisher, that vulnerable ends up being a lot less useful than it otherwise appears. It scales, which is cool, off of the insanity. So like it could potentially do a good amount of damage. But like for 9 costs, like unless you're playing this for free, which is probably what you'd want to be doing, it's not going to be that good. And stanza 3 is.
And
just,
you're usually doing sharp, at which point with the
Right.
Gustav, at which point Never Ending Story is just much better anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah, I agree.
So it's unfortunately not another mythic card that is less good than I would like it to be.
Yeah, I can't see the tier list. I still see.
I just put it back. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Music sheet. This is the one and only book for scouts, so I'm gonna put it in tech.
I'm fine with that.
The reason that I play this is because if you want to enable the items, I'm just going to explain this really quick because this will come up later. If you want to use stuff that gives you, oh, these are all called books, fountain pen. Really, if you have fountain pen, it gives one inspire, gives you the draw for the entire team. So you put this in Andrin's deck as a vigilance essentially, that draws you a card. And maybe gives you a card that you can play too, so it might do something.
And then gives
and then
team-wide
gives inspire. Exactly. Yeah. So it's tech if you get that exact like scenario. Otherwise, it's not like too amazing. But yeah, in song builds, like it's fun to play and roll, and you can high roll, but it's just a high roll card, right? So, yep. Cool. Never-ending story. This is, I mean, better than Last Requiem. It stands at 2. You can repeat it multiple times. This is like your AoE sweeping for mind damage, right? It's like probably the best mind damage card in the game for actually doing damage.
Yeah, and if you are doing conversion, it's great. So like, and you are able to get stanza
2.
So I put it really, really like maybe it's used rarely, or very, very low and used late game.
Yeah. I almost need another tier, don't we? Maybe I'll put that in for the next class. Yeah, it's one of those cards where it's like, I don't know, specific strategies is where I guess like used rarely is going right now, but I should like maybe just have a specific strategies section. That'd probably be good. That's where thorns and poison and stuff could go.
Yeah. I think it's a niche strategy. I think it's not dissimilar from I think it's a niche strategy. It should be in used rally, in my opinion. Never ending story.
Okay, I'll put it below. Here we go.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, that seems right because you could transform the damage like you said, so it can be useful. But yeah, healing serenade. This is an interesting one.
I like it.
I'm gonna put it high up.
I like it.
Used late. It's dispel, right? It could be dispel too on your entire team, and like for tanky teams that have to go multiple rounds, it's a big heal. It's the regen. It's your best healing card as a scout healer.
Yeah, and even in the absence of like I'd play this on Andrin sometimes, even though not perking him healing, especially the dispel too, and especially into the final bosses as well, where dispel is very, very valuable into the Hydra.
Yeah, like you need that dispel.
Yeah,
just to hang with the bosses. Where the heck are we?
On Gustav, when you've got like the egg and the free lover combo, you've got like a bunch of it feels really good.
Just all the vitality.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people have seen this. I'm going to look at Free Lover for a second. But yeah, whenever you play Regen, you get Vitality on a random hero. If you spec into a little bit of Vitality too, it only costs 1 point. It's pretty good. It's a lot of healing done for your whole team. So 8 times a turn.
And then with the Hydra egg in the potion slot.
Yeah, with the Hydra in the potion slot, you almost don't need you almost don't need regen cards because this does 4 every turn.
Yeah.
Hello, Bin Bin. Yeah. Why does it go back every time? That's annoying. All right. Healing Serenade, hidden weapon. Okay, we're moving back. Going on to Neurotoxin. This is your poison scaler, but it's actually like the less good poison scaler now, even though they buffed it.
Yeah, it's an AoE. I think wherever you've got Bane and Dark Concoction, it should be in and around those cards.
Yeah. I'm going to put it slightly below Dark Concoction. What was weird about Neurotoxin is it was doing less damage than the other poison scaling card that scouts have access to. Or wait, that's clerics have access to it, right? There we go. I guess it's your scout poison scaler.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, I'll defer to you. You're the poison master.
Poison master? Oh, not at all. The third musketeer is here. It's been going good. As you can see, we're going through a bunch of rankings. It's worse than Vile Gas. Yes, it is worse than Vile Gas, exactly. But Vile Gas is a cleric card now that I'm looking at this. Yep.
And it's the fact that it's an AoE. I mean, it's an AoE, right? I mean,
it is, but it's a 4-cost AoE. Like,
yeah,
it's just expensive.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Ode of War. This is early. It's like,
Yeah, I think it's below Blade Dance
yeah,
in early. It's very expensive. And obviously Sigrun starts with one, which is nice. But powerful got a nerf. Um,
powerful did get a
I
nerf.
do. It's hard to get though powerful uptime, so I do like Ode of War.
No, I like God of War too.
It's,
Like you said, like it's expensive to craft, and but if you do want it to target the hero that needs powerful, the evade is sometimes actually helpful too if you're not OTKing. Um,
well,
so
actually, even if you're playing a healer carry,
oh yeah, you're
then the
right.
evade lets you fanaticism for free. So I actually really like it, specifically if I'm playing a healer carry as a way to get powerful and give evade in the absence of an armor that gives evade.
Yeah, no, the evade is useful. So yeah, I like Ode of War. It's almost always taken out in the late game, but it is
Yes.
almost always played early game if I like, especially if I find an upgraded version. So it's a, and I
Yeah.
also upgrade it in Gustav's deck all the time just to have that early powerful.
hmm
All right.
Parry,
Parry.
to me, that's kind of below Caltrops or in and around
Yeah,
Caltrops.
that sounds
Where
fair.
if you are doing it, I mean, the rate is very good. Like you get a ludicrous amount of
It's fine.
power energy.
It's I don't know. It's like it's a bad like it's bad compared to like warrior cards. I feel like a lot of the time, but
Yeah.
I mean you also don't get discounts on like defense cards. Although it's also a skill, right?
Yeah, if you're doing the nano kill stuff, then I would, and same with Sigrun carry, then I would play it. So
Yeah, the fact that it could target another hero really is like the version that's good. I almost don't take it if it's not upgraded. Um, but
no,
yeah, yeah, no,
it's
I
really
don't hate it.
expensive. I wish it was a rare. Base rare would be better in my opinion.
Yeah, this should be a base rare card, honestly. This
Yeah,
that would
the
make it a lot better.
the white version at least should be a base rare, even if they want to keep the others epic. It's just so
I
expensive. It's
think
like
they should.
1,600
I
shards.
honestly think they should both be base rare. Block is just like not as good of a thing to do, especially on scouts. So like,
Fair enough.
um,
Yeah.
like guard is like an uncommon, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, parry is good in OC and no perk runs, I believe. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, it's a high base block card too. That makes sense. But we're talking about Madness 18, so
Yeah.
Occident. This is your premier Rust card and Poison Enabler and Wet Enabler, though it's weird because you don't want Wet and Rust normally. This goes where Poison goes. It's better than Bane right now because Rust increases the effectiveness of Poison to such a degree that all the damage scaling cards go off of it, so it kind of enables Bane. I don't know, I'm going to put it up here in the Poison Enablers. I don't know if you have... if you want it anywhere else.
I think it's too expensive for what it does, but unless you're specifically playing Bernard, you would never, ever, ever, ever play this, right, without Bernard, or would you still play it if it wasn't in your team?
If I'm playing Poison in particular, I'm probably playing this card.
It's only single target though, so like you'd pay one energy for
Yeah,
50% more on one character.
I would pay one energy for 50% more, like scaling, I guess.
On an enemy, yeah.
So that's why on an enemy.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all.
I'll defer to you. I'm not well
It,
equipped.
yeah, it also removes reinforce, which is a nice tech sometimes.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's not the best, but it's okay. Plague shot. This is tech. Sometimes decent early. If you have shadow and sharp scaling off of, I don't know. What do you feel? I kind of like it over corrupted blade a lot of the time.
Yeah, personally, I would put Eternal Lullaby ahead of. I'm never
That's
playing both of. I put Eternal Lullaby ahead of Below Exposed Armor, and then I think it's a fair placement.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. Like I don't often play Plague Shot if I can avoid it, but sometimes it's very nice to have. I often will take it when not crafting it, and sometimes I craft it if I have to have Decay because it's like the easiest, cheapest Decay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Poison Catalyst, would you put this as tech or used rarely? It does enable the baptism combo, but it is very niche.
Does it enable the baptism combo? I don't think it does. It's just monster
Oh,
always.
sorry, just monster. So not poison flask. Thinking about poison flask.
Yeah.
Yeah, where would you put this? Is it in and around your poison?
It's around the poison stuff. I mean, like it helps all the scaling. It used to be a lot better, because I think poison used to be harder to apply, but now poison's easier to apply. So like I feel like I just have an easier time doing it. Maybe they buff some stuff. I think poison flask catalyst is still good. I run it if I can. But on poison teams, you also have a hard time finding money sometimes, so making it's difficult.
Yeah.
I might put it above aim shot and use not crafting. Ooh, that's fair. I'm gonna keep it tech. God, I missed everything. It's okay. You can always go back. It's a VOD. Poison dart. This is also
put it ahead of. I actually play this where I'm starved for.
Yeah.
I'd put it ahead of Ode of War, but below Blade Dance, where if I'm really like struggling with shard economy and I need 0 cost.
But you run shivs
damage
first, right?
Shiv's always ahead. Yeah, Shiv's always first.
Yeah.
And then if I can't, because quick shots target front monster, which
Right.
does obviously have some big downsides. So there's times where I'll play a poison dart.
No,
Yeah,
same.
okay.
I'll play poison dart if I find it, especially in divinations. Obviously, it's also useful in poison. It's like one of the best poison cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. It's also a small weapon. You can find it with hidden weapon, so you can get some good value out of it, potentially.
And for the same reason, you'd play both on Nanokill, whereas you would not play quick shot on Nanokill, because you can only play one ranged attack. So Shiv and poison dart are good on Nanokill.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I actually really like them on Nanu. Speaking of poison daggers, this is a really good card. I'm gonna put it like
Yeah, I'd go right next to hidden weapon.
weapon somewhere. I don't know which side, but I'll put it above hidden weapon. Like you're playing poison daggers before you play hidden weapon, probably. and then you pick up hidden weapon to play poison daggers.
Yes.
So yeah.
Perfect.
The reason that this card is good is one of your premier damage cards at 1 energy. It targets always, which is nice compared to the backstab. That also does double tap for 1. And it's a small weapon, so you can find it with hidden weapon, make it reduce cost by 1 when you find it, and you can find 2 of them. So 2 0 cost double hit weapons are good. And it's also really good at applying poison if you're going poison team. But just generally, it's good damage. Poison flask. This is tech. I'm going to put it in tech over poison, because I don't actually think it's a good poison enabler, like, so much, though you might play it there. It is great for the baptism combo that Bernard can do by himself, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You can get to 50 bless really consistently and really easily with Bernard, especially after you get Polluter and Hydra. You can get to beyond, like, you can get to, like, 25 bless, 30 bless, like, even without that, like, pretty easily as well. So... and as GA would tell you, that's a good amount of bless.
Yeah, I mean, you could do exactly the same thing with Divine Power and Amplify, but if you want to do that with extra steps, then fair enough.
But it's more expensive with Divine Power and Amplify.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You can do this with 4 energy, so that's why I like it. Well, kinda. Yeah, you can fight with hidden weapon. That's why. Poisonous shot.
Yep.
Skip. Yeah, this is like almost always skip. I don't know. Better than hit and run. Everything's better than hit and run.
Yep.
Poisonous blood. Tech?
In High Madness, I'll defer to you. I don't think I've ever played this card, so.
The only time.
In High Madness.
Yeah, the only time I played this card in High Madness was 1, when I was kind of going very passive builds, but 2, when I'm playing warriors and scouts that scale with both bleed and poison. I'm doing literally just a bleed poison run. And then you have Virulent Ring.
The ring, yeah.
It's
a lot of ifs.
Yeah,
There's about 5 ifs.
It is. It is a lot of ifs. I don't know. Maybe it's the bottom of used rarely, but like it is good it's very, very strong in that context. Outside of that context, though, I don't know. I'd skip Poison Blood, never played at High Madness. You should try a Bleed Poison team. It's actually really fun.
You should not.
It's actually not even that bad. It just sucks early game. Because Bleed kind of sucks early game. And Poison.
Which is the most important. Which is the most important part of the game.
Which is the hardest part of the game, is really what you're saying. But yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna fight you over it. You can put it below down on the tech if you like.
Yeah, I'll put it in like
wherever
below,
you like.
I'll put it below the user.
For me, it's a skip it.
It's bottom. But it is very cool. Sorry, is his poison shot the worst ranged attack? I don't know. I just don't like it. It's 2 cost, and I don't even play it in poison builds. I don't play it in damage builds. So maybe you might be right. That's why it's a skip.
Yeah.
Poison spray, on the other hand, this is a good ranged attack.
Yeah, poison spray is great, and
like close to poison dagger in my mind. But
in a way, I think barrage is almost too high.
You have a good point, right? Barrage is like, yeah, barrage. It's so weird because it used to be so good. It's a really like obviously barrage is better if you're making it cheaper.
Yeah. Poison spray on Sylvie, it's just it's the best.
Yeah.
Repeat per energy. You know, I'm gonna be scavenging back. If I'm at full sharp, I'm scavenging back poison spray, not barrage.
Yeah. Like unless you made it 0 or something somehow. But yeah, the fact that it goes down to 2 cost for 3, this is what makes it better than rapid fire. The base damage doesn't matter to us because we just buff with sharp and bless and stuff. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, a very, very good damage card. You bring up a good point. You don't even need barrage anymore. I guess like if you're low on sharp, you'd probably play barrage more. And that's about it. Puncture sucks. Yeah, skip.
Yeah, unless you are crazy enough to specifically want to do the frost axe thing, it should be down where hit and run is. It's just so bad.
It enables bleed teams, so I'll keep it slightly higher. Like I imagine, I would like.
That's fine.
You know how much I wanted to see this card on my speedrun team.
Yeah.
Quick shot. These are great. These are great early and late, honestly. They're the 0 cost ranged attack.
Yeah, I put it early. I'm putting it early and ahead of poison dart.
Yeah, what's weird is like you always play this late Sylvie if you're going Tempest.
Yeah.
But you.
There aren't many other. Even then, I think there are better candidates.
Are there? Like if you there's no other 0 cost ranged attack, right?
They do discount. I guess you draw into it and you're happy about it. I'd put it ahead of poison dart for sure.
Yeah, for me, like I'm always playing this late game. I'm gonna put it like, it's weird. I'll put it up.
Okay, put it below chant of accuracy then.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it ahead of deflect or multi-shot.
Why are gunshot and puncture the upgraded versions? Because I accidentally grabbed the upgraded versions of the images when I was doing this last night, so that's why. It feels like it'd be worse than a pure poison build. Yeah, poison blood. Yeah, poison blood isn't worth it unless you're going bleed poison. It's funny though. Rain of Arrows. This is your AoE sweeper. This is going in late game, but also this just like finishes the fight, but it's not your best single target, so it's not the bosses. I put it right next to Barrage. Is that?
Yeah, I think it goes ahead of Barrage. It's more mandatory to get through Act 3 and 4 than Barrage is, in my opinion.
Well, that's fair, and you can actually craft it, so.
Yeah, if you've got fan of knives. But even if Barrage was craftable and was purple, and I had the Shard Suspend, I'd still go run it Rain of Arrows first in Act 3.
Ooh. Fan of Knives is upgrade too. Thanks, Sunny. But yeah, Rain of Arrows, just you buff up your carry, you do this. You have Sylvie, you play Rain of Arrows twice, and then everything's gone. It's probably gone after the first time if you buffed correctly, but Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone in chat said the only bad thing about Poison Dagger is you cannot have two in your starting deck. Yeah, that's true. If
Yeah.
you do get two, then I do like changing a hidden weapon to
To the get two
the other
version.
version and get two of them as draw two.
Yep.
And they obviously don't become free permanently. But it's good. It's a good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, change it to the yellow version instead of the blue. But without two, then obviously keep it the blue.
Right. Yeah. You keep it blue, so you just scavenge it back out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do have to find it if you want to do that too combo. Which I don't know. It happens, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, set up is a good card.
Okay. Why might I feel like I'm more zoomed in than I was previously? Oh, because the box is larger. Hold up, let me zoom a little bit less. Go for the zoom. Minus. Okay. Hey, we're almost through it. Okay. Sorry if it makes it harder for anybody to see. If you like it zoomed in, let me know. Rapid fire.
That's good. I think this goes, below. Like you take this into the late game on Sylvie.
You do, but you switch it out for poison spray.
Yeah, it depends on the shards. But I'd play both. I mean, especially for final bosses, right? In the absence of barrage, so I think it goes below. Maybe it goes below quick shot in the late game where you'd begrudgingly play it. Like if you don't pick up barrage, I'm playing both.
Yeah.
Rapid fire and poison spray.
Well, and to be fair, I'm like playing quick shot if I'm playing Tempest, which I guess like I shouldn't assume,
Yeah.
Like because I don't feel like quick shot is as good if I'm not playing Tempest, but if I am playing Tempest, like I'm getting rid of any other sharpness I have and like just going quick shots. So.
Fair enough.
But yeah, you're right. It's probably better than quick shot there for keeping a late game. Revealing flask. You play this. Can we put this as tech?
It is absolutely tech, and it goes ahead of Plague Shot. In my opinion, I'm doing a run. I'm doing an Andrin carry run right now, and I'm playing Revealing Flask on Secret because transmission is the only other in the early game. So,
so to put it in context, the reason he's playing Revealing Flask is for this 0 cost 1 Inspire.
Yes, exactly. It kicks off the Inspire chain. You can trace the actual. I'm not doing it because I want to play the Flask.
Yeah.
Doing it.
The Flask is too expensive.
In my previous high score, which was all scouts, this was like an incredible. This was amazing.
Yeah, and the particular reason that it ends up being valuable too, I should note, is because of the perk that lets you draw 2 from 1 Inspire.
So, yeah, if you're not playing that perk, then I wouldn't play it. So It's still a net +1 card, and if you can trace the Flask off the top, that it's still
net 2 cards.
Yeah.
So
exactly. It's not valid.
It's fine. It's just it's definitely like not something you're doing all the time, and like I wouldn't play this on a team that's doing Insanity or even Sight for that matter.
No.
You have better ways of doing both for those teams. So tech is fine. It's Inspire when you need it, and Scouts have only 2 options for Inspire. Well, 3 if you count Wild Hunt, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Energizing Serenade, but I don't count that because it doesn't show up.
You mean Ballad of Evasion?
Yeah, sorry. I was Ballad of Evasion, Energizing
Expert
Serenade,
Tracker.
and Expert Tracking. Okay. Reverberant Burst. This is your Mind Damage repeat card. Do we play this?
I do in the late game with Gustav Carry, but it's quite niche.
It's quite niche. I'm gonna put late. I put it next to Neverending Story somewhere.
If I'm playing Gustav Carry, at least OTK, I'm not playing. Reverberant Verse. I'm absolutely crafting this.
Right.
So I think that's fair.
Because you can boost this with Gustav's perk of sharp mind damage stuff. So yeah, it is the good damage card there. Ricochet.
Yep.
How do you feel about
I like
Ricochet?
it in the early game.
I like it there in the game too.
In the early game.
That is exactly how I feel. It's worse than the AoE sweepers for me. Actually, I think I like it less than Poison Dart even. But it is still decent AoE and does some really good damage, especially on like 2 enemy fights.
Yes.
Rupture.
Rupture is good tech.
It's good tech.
It's like in and around where Captivating Voice
Yeah.
is, because you can get the refund on momentum.
Yep.
So it's not as much slow. So I even play Captivating Voice ahead of it sometimes, even with momentum, just because of this amount of slow that it provides. But it is good tech.
It is good tech. It's not going to be another 4-hour tier list, Snoots. Look at that. We're almost done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. Yeah. If you need the slow, or if you only need 2 slow, or potentially, I think it's only 2 slow, right? 2 slow or 3 slow, then it is the, 2 slow. It's the way to go for melee attack target. Otherwise, if you need more than that, you go Captivating Voice. That's just the tech.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't showing that on the screen very briefly. Okay. But I often do run this on Andrin just for floor fights as well. If I have like a Song of Celerity and I need just a slow for one of the fast monsters, it can be very helpful.
Yeah.
Sarcastic Sonnet. Skip?
Skip it. Yeah, I don't think I've played it.
Yeah, it's a stanza 1. It's got vulnerable, but it's hard to play. You have to get stanza into your deck, and there's so many better ways of getting vulnerable. Like Lethal Shot. Saw Blade. This is a decent melee damage card, but I feel like I almost never craft it.
Yeah, to me it's a used. If I see it in a divination and I'm playing Thols, then I may. You get 3 procs of Black Talons, so I'm fine to, if I see one, to take it.
Yeah, I have it similarly. It's one of the best cards to find when you're doing like weapons cache. It's like one of your highest base damage weapons. So
yeah, true.
Of course, you're ranking all 4 rarity levels of each cards. No, we are ranking them all in one. Sawtooth Knife.
Skip it.
Yeah, it's like a skip, but I love seeing it when I don't. It's one of the things I play the purple version of this sometimes. Does that count for anything? It's really good purple base damage.
No.
No? Okay. It doesn't count for anything. GA said so. I'll put it ahead of Lethal Shot. I do like it more. Scavenge. Another.
This goes behind Last Reward for me, or behind Adrenaline.
Yeah, this is one of your key scout cards.
Yeah, regardless whether you're playing conventionally, OTK, whatever, just getting back a card for free is just unbelievable.
Like, think of this as your best card to get back. If you're tracing or scrying at all, you can then like dump a card if it's too far away for your draw or whatever, and then pick it back up. This enables scout consistency to a very high degree. Without this, scouts would be way less consistent.
Yeah. Same with setup.
Same with setup.
I think setup goes just after Scavenge to me, but still ahead of Chant.
Okay. Yeah. Yep, these cards are just like core cards that you would like always want to see or play in almost every scout deck, except maybe your carry for setup, but even setup goes in there at 0 cost a lot of times. So
0 cost, exactly.
Shadow Step. You like playing this as a stealth card, right?
I do not.
No, wait.
I can understand. No, I like Vanish. I don't like spending the energy on Shadow Step.
Yeah.
And I don't like getting fast on the carry because it kind of jumps them ahead. I could see why, like for non-OTK, I could see why you'd play this in a use not crafting. Like if I found one, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty good value. But I wouldn't spend shards on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in used rarely.
It has to go ahead of Poisonous Blood.
yeah. Sorry, Poisonous Blood, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in used rarely. It's definitely better than that. Honestly, it's probably better than a number of these. I'm gonna put it ahead of Evanescence. Evanescence is like my cutoff card.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of stealth. Sharpening Knife. This is a tech, maybe used rarely. I don't know.
It's used rarely, I think, because you can't craft it, and then by the time that you get into the mid game, it's kind of getting outclassed by other things. So
yeah, this is like if you need Thols or somebody to scale themselves up more, and you want to find this with a hidden weapon that reduces the cost by 2. Right?
It's not.
No, it's not 2. It's just 1. You reduce it by 1.
Yeah, so it's quite nice if you have a sharpening knife and a poison daggers, and you can hidden weapon them both out. It feels really good. So.
Right, I'm gonna put it right behind detection. I use it for sharp sometimes.
Excuse me.
I put it in rarely or not crafted. I don't know if I ever even crafted, but it's solid for slower teams. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like it's a It's a nice
Yeah.
boost. Shadow Step's a good boost card. Shiv.
Yeah.
This is ahead of Poison Dart. There we go.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
Shit's great.
Shiv's great. It's a small weapon that does more base damage than Poison Dart and also targets a monster. That's
Yep.
literally it. Shrapnel Shot. I don't think I ever played this.
Nope. Skip it.
Yeah, skip it. Why does it apply crack? No one knows.
Don't know.
Slice. Uh, used early or sometimes late. It's kind of like quick shot.
Yeah.
I think I like it more than quick shot more.
Sometimes I keep one late. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can often find there's a lot of melee draw cards on Andrin. This is really nice for applying mark for free with momentum. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, smoke bomb tech.
I like it. I like it ahead of revealing flask.
Yeah.
Maybe below Eternal Lullaby. And it's good if you are against, if you cannot speed up your team and you're against a Monty or a Colin and there's like an Armageddon or other things, then obviously you save yourself a ton of effective damage.
Right.
Because you cannot be targeted. You still suffer from AoE, but it blanks all the single target cards from your enemies.
Yeah, smoke bomb is great tech. Yeah, it's similar to Ballad of Evasion. It can save you almost as much damage sometimes. But Ballad of Evasion providing buffer is usually going to be better too. So, yeah. Sneak Peek is a skip, right? Just don't like remove it,
It's terrible.
right? Like
Yeah, even if you're going
stealth.
specking into, yeah, it's just awful.
stealth and mark, you're still probably not playing Sneak Peek because it requires stealth one, which is hard to like just make sure you have in the same hand with Sneak Peek. This is a card in your hand that's not doing anything for you other than reapplying stealth and maybe applying like 2 mark. God,
Yeah.
it's bad. Okay. Sneaky Strike. Also don't play.
No,
Yeah, this is also a skip.
it's close to like debilitate or somewhere around there. They're all
Yeah.
bad. We're not playing any of these. So.
We're not playing any of these. There are like levels to this. Hit and run gets to stay low down, but I'll play it over Sneak Peek. Sneak Peek might be the worst card in Scouts. Yeah, exactly. I put it below Hit and Run. That should tell you how I feel. Sniper Shot, never play really, but
No, do not. Yeah, same.
I'll put it like near Backstab maybe. I'll put Eviscerate ahead. I don't like Eviscerate being so low. Sometimes it's fun to do, even though it's not the best damage. It's just outclassed. Song of Celerity. This is a great card. If you need it, it's like this is great for fast teams that just want this as a fast enabler.
Yeah, I think it's used late game. I personally do prefer Chant of Initiative strategies over Song of Celerity.
Chant of
I
Initiative
think
just enables more teams. Is I think the best way to put it, right?
Does. Yeah.
Song of Celerity is great if you have the right speeds on your team.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a fair. Speed control is obviously just amazingly strong. So
Yeah, if they ever create a mage like Zek that has 16 speed that you can get up to, that also starts with like some decent support cards, might see more of Song of Celerity.
I would put it lower down for OTK, but if it's used more conventionally, then I'm fine.
It is.
There,
It's used very conventionally for a lot of teams as speed control or speed like setup to make sure you're better for next turn.
Yeah.
Similar to Song of Quickness, but Song of Quickness is actually less so that way. Do you?
I feel like it's a used, not crafting. It starts in Gustav's deck, and then sometimes you're happy to see it, but I'm not actively. I don't think I've ever actively crafted this.
Yeah, that's fair. It's funny. I've not crafted it, but sometimes it's saved my life on like some runs. So yeah, I'll put it at the top of use not crafting. I almost never craft it. You're right, but it's still nice. Sprint. This is bad, right?
Skip it.
Skip it.
Yeah.
There's better ways to apply fast. There's Chant of Initiative. You don't want to just only be able to target yourself. If you're going Nanukil speed, you might be playing Sprint, in which case you're playing a very bad strategy.
Yes.
Stone Skin. This is used rarely, but still very good.
It goes
for the tank.
in and around. I think it goes behind Caltrops ahead of Perry.
There we go. Perfect. I want to have an overcharge bonus for fast. Yeah, Song of Quickness. That is. Yeah, that'd be nice. Storm Javelin. Storm Javelin is a skip.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be a hypocrite and say I like the purple version.
Oh, you like the purple version? That's fair. The purple version's
Yeah,
actually good.
yeah, but yeah, otherwise I would not play it now.
Here, just show off the purple version real quick. Where the heck is this? There it is. Yeah, purple version. Yeah, shuffle 2 Storm Javelins blue into the deck, cost reduced by 2, and vanish. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I guess it's worse now because I would be transforming it with enchant weapons, but yeah,
it's still
maybe it's
good base
worse now.
damage. It's scaling 100% off of
Yeah,
Spark instead of that 0.5. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
um,
Cool. Okay.
cool. Oh, I didn't show that off actually. 1 second. Uh, hold up. Go into the purple, purple. There you go. You can just see Storm Javelin here. My bad. All right. Corrupted Sprint though. No, someone said Corrupted Sprint. Oh, you're right. Corrupted
Yeah,
Sprint.
we are deliberately.
We also
Yeah,
play that
yeah, we're
purple.
deliberately. Yeah, yeah.
You
But we're
always play this
deliberately
card.
not. Yeah, we're deliberately not factoring in
The purples right
corrupted.
now. I did have. Maybe I should bring back the use one purple. It's funny because like it's mostly on scouts that it matters.
It's true.
But yeah, you would play Corrupted Sprint because it gives you that draw.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back to the screen. Sorry, need to make sure I'm actually showing everybody the right things. Sweet Melody. This is used early game. It's a nice heal early from healer Gustav.
Is it used not crafting very top? Because are you actively ever? Would you ever craft this?
Yeah, I guess the question is, do I use this ever on not Gustav? And the answer is no. So
Yeah,
I'd actually
I like
put it
its use
below
not crafting.
Song of Quickness and Hunter's Mark. But I do like it as the heal card. Like I don't remove it or anything. Unlike Song of Quickness sometimes. But yeah. Yeah, free copy of Vigilance. Well, yeah, Purple Vigilance is also a free copy of Vigilance. It's also good too. Yeah, there's a number of purples that are hard to rate. Speaking of which, Purple Tactical Thinking would also fit up right there.
Yeah,
I believe Purple Tactical Thinking is free, right? It's yeah, it gives you
it's not.
oh, it's not free.
It's not free. No, it just gives you
It just gives
the
you the 0
purple.
cost. Well, it's still probably something you'd play
Which
because
for
it's just
vigilance.
Vigilance.
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
Song
Well,
of Celerity Purple.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's
Still,
nice for that Song of Celerity to have the 3 fast because Song of Celerity Purple makes a big difference on what teams can be played with Song.
it does. Only if you had the for tactical. Where did we put it? Where do you put it? Tactical thinking.
I haven't yet. 1 second.
I think it's in used rarely, right?
Yeah, used rarely. Uh, there we go.
By the time you can craft it, you've already got a Son of Celerity. So if you have the shards, then you can afford it. Then you'd take it out. But
Would you play? Yeah, I don't think you'd play Sweet Melody on Bernard. You'd just play Dispel instead. I was thinking the card evaluation varies so much depending on the card/color version. It does, but at the same time, like we're kind of keeping that in mind when we rate all these cards. Like purples are really the only thing that makes a huge difference in value sometimes for a lot of the cards. Otherwise, we're considering that you're using the upgraded versions that are like the best for your team when we're talking about these cards. At least that's what I've been doing. I assume GA's been on the same page. GA didn't respond. I've lost him.
sorry,
No, you're good.
sorry, I'm back. Sorry, I missed. I was just responding to a text.
No worries. I was just
I
saying.
agree with whatever you said.
Yes, GA agrees with me. We're good. I think we would evaluate the best non-corrupt version. Exactly. That's how we're evaluating cards. Bin says.
Yeah. We are looking at through the best non-corrupt version. Yeah.
Tedious Poem. I should probably just have a corruption slot, but yeah, that would be its own video maybe. Tedious Poem are never played. Is it tech even?
Nope.
It's not, because
No.
it's a single target weakness, so it'd be below like debilitating by far. Not so far below that it's below. There we go. I don't know why this matters to me, but it matters. I have this bottom ranking all sorted out. Toxic Rain. Tech maybe? Maybe, I don't know.
I'll leave it up to you.
Barely?
But it's like ahead of Poison Catalyst, but below Bane maybe, or I'm not sure. I'll let you decide where in the poison hierarchy you want to put it.
Yeah. I'll put
It's
it.
free.
It's free. It's a free AoE poison. It puts wet on the entire team, so I actually do sometimes play it to apply wet on wet-based teams, as like a cheap mark card. is all it is, and that's it. So it's probably here.
Okay.
Toxic Strike. Don't play
I
it.
guess it does help. It does enable because it applies wet.
Exactly.
It does enable some. Yeah.
That's why I like it. Is I play it on teams that enables wet. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I skipped over Toxic Strike basically, but it's bad.
No, you put it in a reasonable. He put it in a reasonable spot. Yeah.
Trace. This is used late game.
It is. Yeah. It's probably ahead of Song of Celerity. Maybe even ahead of Chant of Initiative. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this is interesting. You don't have to play Trace. I'm gonna put it below here. My reasoning is like you don't have to play Trace if you're not looking for a really high consistency. Like you don't need Trace on Madness 16, but it will help you out immensely if you do play it, even on
and now on Madness 18, because it's even better now than it used to be in 16 because you're going to have curses in your deck, so Trace is even stronger in 18 than it was in 16.
Not with Bin's mod, and hopefully with the update that they do soon.
But even with it, I mean, if you're not rich, you're still going to be stuck with more curses than you would have been otherwise. So.
You're right. You do have to like filter them out. It's very good. It's also just like if you need to find any specific card on any specific team or like reorder. Like Trace is one of the best cards, similar to like any of the Scry effects. It's so good for restarting a fight over, figuring out how to make your fight go as best as possible. If you don't have Trace, sometimes like the fight's just unwinnable, and Trace can like change that around because it fixes all those cards.
Yeah, and it's obviously so good just because card balance. There are some cards that are just so much better, like Steel Forge, than anything else you could possibly do.
Right.
That card selection just becomes extremely strong.
Exactly. I feel like it would also be great to see the better version of chart, maybe for future streams. I super rarely use blue scavenge over yellow, so why not use it visually? Oh, that's an interesting point. I mean, yeah, I can try to do that. It takes a while to to grab all the cards. It's only like, I don't know, 30 minutes, but it would take longer if I had to worry about which version. No, it's a good idea, though. It would be better, but I'm probably not going to do that because that's more work than I want to put in. Tune-up is tech. Right? Do you play this outside of getting purple?
Not really. I think it's in the used rarely.
Okay.
What do you tech it? What is it the tech for? What are you teching against?
I was honestly just considering like the purple version, so yeah, you're right. It's probably just used rarely.
Ahead of Poisonous Blood. It's fine. I mean,
I don't know.
I think if you
sometimes there's a
catch
song
one
you
on
really want to
Gust, if you catch one on Gustav, you'd play it.
Yeah,
I think it's ahead of Ammunition.
Yeah, like sometimes there's a song you really want to find.
Yeah.
And that's when it's nice.
Yeah.
Like I guess like sometimes I've played it with Captivating Voice. Specifically the upgraded version, mind you. The one that puts it into your hand. This one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The purple version is so good though.
It is, yeah.
Cost reduced by 1 permanently and stanza. That's part of the Gustav tech. What's interesting about purple versions is that we do have ways of like guaranteeing it. So Madness 16 like just generally has better access to purple than I feel like OTK does. It feels like more like it'd be a good way to go through each deck and talk about each card about them rather than ranking one card against one another. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Uproot is a tech card, a very good tech card. Probably like the best tech card because it gives you vulnerable and purges thorns.
I'd disagree.
Where would you put it?
I think that it is a misconception that this is Thorns tech.
It's vulnerable.
Like I would die on this hill, and I've argued this on the Discord many times.
Sorry, it is Thorns tech.
I think
it's also just the best vulnerable sweeping card that the scouts have.
I think the play rate, if you removed Purge Thorns,
mm-hmm.
I think it would get played more than it currently does. If you nerfed it, I think people would play it more.
I don't think that's actually true.
I do think, because people tunnel vision, they think, oh, this is the Thorns thing. And then they just miss the fact that there's an AoE vulnerable on the fastest class in the game. And
Okay.
like I did that myself for a while. Before I started to really sit back and evaluate the card, I was like, oh, this is the Thorns thing. It's not the Thorns thing. It is specifically a mass vulnerable, an AoE vulnerable for one. It's strictly better than Piercing Howl in like a ton of circumstances. It's strictly better
Whoa,
than the
whoa, whoa, whoa,
second
whoa,
Piercing
whoa,
Howl.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Than the second Piercing Howl,
Oh,
not the
then the
first.
second piercing howl, sure. Yeah, the first
Yeah,
piercing howl is better in most
the first Piercing
circumstances.
Howl is obviously better, but the second you'd rather have an uproot ahead of a second Piercing Howl in like many instances.
Been kind of agrees with you. I don't know. I guess like for me personally, I always saw this as just the AoE card, like or vulnerable card. Like it was always just my vulnerable source on scouts. I think also I played scouts so often with warriors because of their overlapping damage types that so often I wouldn't need extra vulnerable.
I think if you go back and look at my even for high score OTK, like absolutely min maxing, uproot is going to be in every finishing deck. I'm playing at least one or two. I'm changing it to blue for the final bosses, and I'll play it all the way through, mod or no mod.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I also play it all the way through a lot of the time.
Yeah, and even if I knew that I'm not running into single Thorns Proliferation or Rose Garden,
same. Like
I'm still playing this every fight. I'm delighted if I can get one of these off. So to me, that is the definition of not tech. Like it is always good, and then has incredible upside.
Okay.
As like secondary tech, but it's not tech. It's not like I'm bringing it in to serve a niche purpose. No, I play this every run.
That's fair. Where did we put Piercing Howl? I gotta check that. I'll put it at the same spot because like to me, it's Piercing Howl but on a scout. But it's worse in more situations.
It's worse than Piercing.
It is.
It's worse than Piercing Howl, but it's still incredible. I mean, Piercing Howl is one of the best cards in the game.
Yeah. I just gotta check. Where did we put that? God, that image is so low res. Oh, we put it really high in late game. That's fair. Yeah, I'll often use this late game. I'll agree. Should definitely be late game row, probably somewhere mid to far back. Yeah, I can be convinced. It is also tech. If you don't need the extra vulnerable, like sometimes I will play uproot just because I need to remove thorns on Yelmer. Like uproot for Yelmer, if Yelmer wasn't the first boss of the game, I don't think I'd play uproot nearly as often for the start of games because like I have vulnerable in a lot of other ways for a lot of other classes, though this is a really good AoE vulnerable.
I think that is too low where you currently
yeah. Sorry,
I think it goes ahead of Fan of Knives, ahead of Ambidextrous, and behind Bound Evasion.
Behind Valid Evasion.
Maybe ahead of Ballad.
Yeah, I'll put it there. That's fair.
To me, like I said, there's never ever. I'm never taking it out ever.
Wouldn't you take it out if you had more vulnerable in another class, though? You don't take it out because Andrin sucks. He doesn't do anything other than like apply vulnerable or speed up the team. That's why you don't take it. Now I'm like I'm realizing why like this is. I'm like right, vulnerable like it. He doesn't do anything better than apply AoE vulnerable on his turn, other than like the speed tech that he does. Maybe he also
organize everyone's turns.
Marks. Yeah, that's what I mean. He does the speed tech and applies mark potentially, which uproot can help too because it always costs one. But now, now I'm remembering. Like I always run uproot on Andrin as well because like he doesn't. If I'm doing speed like control and trace and stuff, because it's just he doesn't do anything else that's better.
Yeah. So look, maybe because I'm so kind of tunnel visioned on OTK that every time I play Andrin, I've always played uproot in every single run.
No, that makes sense.
I've done in the last like 18 months, but
yeah.
I feel like calling it tech is a disservice to the card.
That is fair. The card is just very good on its own. AoE up or AoE vulnerable is always going to be pretty nice. You do need to take the vulnerable perk to make really good use out of it. One vulnerable isn't going to do too much, but it's the same for Piercing Hell. Same how you need to take like the slow and vulnerable perk on Piercing Hell to make it really good. Vanish. This is your favorite stealth card for late game, right?
Yeah, I do like it a lot.
Do you like it over camouflage or?
Obviously it's free, so in the late game, I think I'm playing it. It's neck and neck with camouflage for me. I think it's slightly below because it's cheaper. Sorry, because it's more expensive to craft.
Right.
And I've already sunk cost into camouflage.
Right.
So maybe it's just below camouflage, but it's an amazing multiplier, right? I'm playing the blue version.
Right.
Where when you've perked stealth, you get like a ridiculous. If you've perked 25%, there's 100% multiplier on your like massive pop-off card.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. I do think it's slightly worse because scouts now have access to Fury, but before they had access to Fury, you had no real multipliers other than powerful. So this was even better. Now that Fury exists, it's a little bit worse because you can turbocharge and multipliers with Blade Flurry.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of those cards that you play in tandem with the AoE sweeping cards, like Rain of Arrows, just to annihilate the entire enemy team, because it's like playing two Rain of Arrows. So I agree with you, Bin. That it is hard to evaluate Uproot because it varies so much based on team's composition. Yeah, it's still a good card though. I think AoE Vulnerable is great. Vexing Crescendo. This is kind of like the worst Ricochet to me for mind damage teams, but it's worse because it's it doesn't scale in the early game.
Yeah, I do play it. I played it on Gustav Carry.
Yeah, I'll put it behind.
So maybe it's like a used rarely reverberant verse ahead of Neverending Story.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Vigilance is a card in the game that sucks. I want to make this clear. Vigilance is a bad card. It does one thing, and this is why it gets used all throughout the game. And that one thing is it draws you a card and starts in your opening hand. Like,
yes.
It's a bad card. Its effect doesn't do anything.
It dispels stealth and it reduces
it can dispel stealth if you perk into that, and it can reduce piercing resistance by a little bit. By like 0.9%. But yeah, maybe it's good tech card, but it's weird because it's a tech card that's like always. You know what? You're right. I'm gonna put a tech card because it's not every strat's OTK, right? I'm gonna put it top of tech. Because like you're putting this if you're doing trace. You're doing this, I guess, for any scout that's doing filter. Not even OTK necessarily, but since scouts are so fast, you're often using them to help out your other team if you have them in a more support role. So, yeah, I'll put it there.
Top of tech is fair. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a bad card. That does draw. Viper Strike. This is bad.
Don't play it.
This is used not crafting. You skip it. I know. I'm gonna put use not crafting because I use it for poison early for Tholes, and that's it.
Yep. That's fair.
Vitalizing Serenade. It's bad. I hate this card.
I know you do. It's a used relief. Like, you can't put this below Poisonous Blood.
I can, and I will. Why? Okay, let me get a rant about this card for just a moment. We're almost done with this. I'm sorry. I'm going to take a bit more time though. You're paying 3. You get what? 3 vitality out of this with the perk. So you're getting up to 7 health or like 7 health-ish thanks to the Madness modifier that cuts vitality healing in half. And you're paying 3. 7 health on all heroes for 3. There's so many better options. Prayer of Healing is a better card that costs less.
For a different class.
For a different class, yes. But like, if I'm healing, I don't like playing this. I would rather have Dispel in the deck. I would rather play any of the healing cards over Vitalizing Serenade.
The yellow one, like a The only reason I'll put it in use rarely is if I'm playing just Gustav support only. I have played and I've been offered an upgraded version of this in Act 1 or early Act 2.
Have you ever crafted this?
Maybe.
I could maybe go for not like bottom of crafting. I could maybe do it, but like I honestly think it's a waste of energy. Like healing is already bad.
A two, and the yellow one at 2 energy on with Gustav for a team wide energize, like 4 energized, 4 vitality, and it costs 2 because of his discount.
4 energize,
and it also. So not 4 energize.
No, I know, I'm messing with you. 4 regen.
Regenerate, yeah, 4 regen, and because it increases the max HP, you get a lot more value from his recover on his level 2, because his level 2 is recover % of HP, of max HP, correct?
Yeah, you can make your team a bit stronger, and then the regen applies after the fact, so the health that you didn't gain from the vitality does start to go up. Barely.
So look, it's not. I mean, I was saying it's good, but it shouldn't. It has to be ahead of Poisonous Blood.
No, because like I literally never play this card. I would play Poisonous Blood on like infinitely more teams because Vitalizing Serenade is bad, and that's how strongly I feel about it. Like I don't have a time where I've ever actually like, even if I had the option to play it. But I think Bin's right. If I had no other option, if it was an upgraded blue version of Vitalizing Serenade, and because GA is praising it, I'll put it at the bottom of use not crafting. Because like if we're not crafting it, you get a yellow version. You may play this for.
It has to go.
Heals.
It has to go ahead of like Blur, Annoying Whistle, and Viper Strike, because if any of those come up in a reward, you're not going to take it. But for this one,
no, Viper Strike's
we're
better.
saying that
I play Viper Strike.
I would never actively take a Viper Strike, but if I'm playing Gustav in a healer role and it came up as an upgraded version, I would take it. I'd take one of them.
Viper Strike's a 1-cost target melee slashing attack. It's good for the slashing Andrin attack builds actually with momentum and stuff.
I would never actively take one from a card reward personally.
Really, I've enjoyed it as the 1-cost, but you might be right. Like it's probably better to play like 2-cost cards and get that refund.
He starts off with like 1 million slices in his deck already, and then you craft a couple.
But slice
more,
doesn't target. Slice hits front monster.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like sometimes the Viper Strike's really good there.
Okay, I'm fine. I'm just saying it. I've played it non-zero times in Madness 16 before OTKing, right? When with Gustav as a. I don't think I'd ever play Ambush. I don't think I've ever played Ambush. But
the Ambush I've only played on Tholes, like literally because I don't craft and because I don't have money and because it's a high base damage. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, maybe
I don't
Ambush.
care enough to. I'm fine. Yeah.
Anyways,
Bin agrees with me more than Ambush.
The PSA I want to put out there is just that Vitalizing Serenade sucks. You should probably never take it. It's not worth anything. But I am being outvoted here. All right, Volley. Volley's a great card. Volley's your. I don't know. It's like weirdly.
You still play in the. I think it. You still play it in the.
It's early game, but it's.
To be fair,
It's Act 2.
Yeah.
Or if you find it, you play it. But sometimes I play it late.
Yeah, I'd still carry it through sometimes through the late game. I think it's low down in late game.
Yeah, it's weird because it's one of those cards that you'd want to get replaced by Rain of Arrows. But if you're really tight on energy, or if you just haven't like found a Rain of Arrows and you don't have the shards, sometimes Volleys is what you keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. But otherwise you'd like to remove it for the better sweeper. Weapons cache. Put it in used rarely. It's probably better than sharpening knife.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The problem I have with weapon cache is I do like this hidden hand with Thulse.
Yeah.
The one where if you run out of cards, then you draw. I think it's called hidden hand.
Hidden hand, yeah. No, it is a problem with hidden hand sometimes.
And this is the one card that is always seems to be stopping me from proccing Hidden Hand because it's so expensive.
Yeah, ideally I play the 2-cost version.
Two cost one's good. Yeah, 2-cost one's good.
Just you get the you get a lot of value. You'll get a ton of damage from weapons cache. Sometimes you play the 4-cost version if you like need small weapons to stay in your deck for whatever reason. But yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's part of the strat. It's a very good late game small weapons tech.
Yeah, if you want to get the 2-cost version, it's very shard intensive. So
yeah,
makes sense.
Whispering Lies is good on Gustav carry.
Goodish, and is probably ahead of. That seems fair to me.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it there because it's good. It's double damage. It can proc off of 2 damage things. It's a 1-cost target any monster, so that's fine. And then Wicked's Craftsman, your favorite. Discover 3 small weapons and shuffle 1 into your deck, or you could put a -2-cost one into your hand. I love finding Sharpening Knife off of it. But what would you say? Do you skip this all the time, or do you use it at all?
Yeah, I typically skip it.
I'll put it in use rate. I'll put it above Poisonous Blood for you. Right, I'll actually put it above Ammunition. Yeah, I'll put it above Ammunition.
Yeah, if ammunition's there, then Wicked Craftsman's probably gonna go above it.
Yeah, I'll put it there. I understand why you would skip it all the time. I think it's some decent value at the upgraded rarity version. Just the -2 cost for a small weapon can pay off really nicely, and you're usually going to get your value out of it because there's a lot of high cost small weapons. Would you ever craft weapons cache / Whispering Lies? I have crafted Whispering Lies before for double damage stuff. I don't know if it was actually the right play, but I enjoyed having it. It's kind of like Dual Strike, but a little bit better. Like in Gustav's deck. Weapons cache, yes, I've also crafted, definitely. I've definitely crafted weapons cache for my small weapons Tholes build. Again, I don't know if that was the right play. There's probably like more efficient plays, but at the very least, it wasn't a bad play, and it definitely helped me win the run over the cards that I had in the deck currently. So, Wicked Craftsman is fun. But that is the tier list. Should I download this?
Take a step back and
So we're good. Do we like
where
things are?
And do let's do a final sweeping check. It's funny how few used early game.
Yeah, it's like
cards there are.
I think it's just because scouts have so many used early game cards that you carry into the late game.
True. Yeah.
Like look at all these commons up here in the used late game. Like.
Yeah, it's the reason the card pool is so good. For a while, I was kind of nervous about the Scout hybrid crossovers, just because any card pool that adds adrenaline, scavenge, and setup to any other class, you would just always play them.
Right.
Just to make decks so much more efficient. Yeah, Scout's very, very strong card pool.
Yeah. I mean, they also just have really good stat, or they have the best stat in the game, right?
Yeah, speed. Apart from Bernard. Poor Bernard.
Poor Bernard. He's so slow. I think for this tier list, you should put used early carry into the late game tier list. While the other one you put them into the early game tier. That might be true. I'm trying to think. I feel like more of these get used late game, but I'd have to double check the tier list. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we haven't been 100% consistent. That'd be my bad.
Yeah, it's more, I guess, used late game kind of classifications. How often do they feature in the final deck?
Right.
Is how we've been. At least how I've been trying to do it.
Like, how often do I see these cards in the final deck? And like, yeah, these cards have all been in my final decks like very often.
Yeah. And if they are common or uncommon, then you can assume that they are also used in the early game.
Right. Yeah, so that's a good case. Tech cards all look good to me. I don't think there's anything I'm like I need. There's nothing I hate the placement of, except for maybe vitalizing serenade, but that's fine. That's my hill to die on. uh, but yeah.
This is a lot better than the skip it section is a lot smaller than the warriors. Is that right? It's like
yeah, no,
just
I think warriors have a lot worse cards in general. I don't know if it's a lot smaller, but it feels a little bit smaller.
yeah. The used rarely feels a lot bigger, and the skip it feels smaller. I don't know if that's correct.
I think that's right. I think used rarely feels bigger. I'd have to double check the tier list, which is impossible to do, even though I have it right here.
We can kind of eyeball it. Look,
Yeah.
the tech is a lot bigger. Tech is way bigger for warriors.
Oh
it
yeah,
looks
skip
like.
it's way bigger in warriors too.
Skip it's way bigger.
Tech is way bigger in warriors. Yeah, yeah. And then use
There's a
crafting's similar. Yeah.
the early game. The early game is way bigger for warriors because the stuff that you have no choice, but then you're actively trying to get them out later.
Yeah, no,
Whereas
yeah.
scouts,
That's the other interesting thing is early game for warriors. Ooh, yeah, it's a great point. You're switching out of a lot of those cards, like for better, like directly better cards, where scouts don't have a lot of those analogs. Like maybe volley is like one of those, but it's weird because it's a mid-game card. Maybe I should have a mid-game section. I think I said that last time, right?
I think it's okay where it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. You can assume anything like close to the top of early or towards the bottom of late is probably fitting into the mid-game.
Yeah. Especially if it's a rare, uncommon, or common.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Cool.
That's it. We finished in 2 hours. Is that good enough?
Yeah. That was expeditious enough for me. Yeah, that was good. That was the last one was an hour and a half, so we were a little bit behind the pace.
Yeah, we're a little bit slower. We talked a lot through all the cards. I mean, I think people appreciate our insights on cards. So, it's good content.
Which class did you want to cover next?
I was just gonna keep going in order. I was gonna do mages. I think mages have a lot of good cards. They also have a lot of curses that are bad, but then they have a lot of good cards outside of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
this should be a fun one. I don't know. I'll do next weekend too if you have time, or some other time. We'll find a time to do it.
Figure it out.
But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for joining me, GA. Also, make sure to check out GA's channel if you're interested in OTK strats or really just awesome songs and other content. GA has a lot of good videos of Cross the Obelisk.
Thank you very much. All right. We'll speak soon.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye. And thanks everybody for joining the stream. Yeah, mages also have a lot of really bad cards. Yeah, I'm excited to like go through them one by one and see all the bad cards. You know, Bin, if you ever wanted to join, I don't know, maybe it would take longer, but we could have you in the call if you felt like you wanted to be in. I think it'd be fun. Talk through it with us three. I enjoy having all of your input and insights onto cards as well. So, that's going to do it for the stream. I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you are.